Bismillah, alhamdulillah. Salatu wassalam ala rasulillahi amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Try to take some questions now if it's not too late. Also, friendly reminder that we do provide full-time Islamic counseling, marriage and divorce services, virtually, counseling, support, therapy, whatever is the need. And you can sign up for those services, Bidnai Ta'ala. They're exclusive, confidential, and private at our website, HadithDisciple.com, and also on our official Facebook page, Mufti Ibn Munir. For those who have sensitive questions, personal questions, time-sensitive questions, for those who have specific and particular needs, and they need special therapy, special counseling, you can sign up for those services there. Jazakumullahu khairan. All right, so first question states, first question says, B. Raka, alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Muhammad Salah Farawaniya, Kuwait, can you explain in brief face fear directly? Jazakallah khairan sensei. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Face fear directly. Fear is a very powerful emotion. There's no doubt about that. Okay? And if you allow fear to conquer you, it can destroy you. And it can prevent you from many Islamic obligations and many worldly obligations. So there's a must that you face it and that you confront it and eventually overcome it. And oftentimes the best way is to just fall in front of the fear. Just do it. So a person is afraid of speaking in front of people. I'm afraid of making a mistake. I'm afraid of getting refuted. As we speak, there are trolls and minions, okay? Literally, without exaggeration, there's a network of people watching, recording, trying to twist and warp and write something down, let alone a flat-out mistake, trying to embarrass, trying to shame. So therefore, I'm not going to speak. I don't want to talk anymore because I'm scared of getting refuted and getting embarrassed, right? Oftentimes, the best way of overcoming that fear is to make a public speech, is to tell your friend, listen, sign me up for a khutbah, but don't tell me the week, all right? I'll come and I pray Jum'ah. Don't tell me which week it is. And on the second week of October, he says, you go there and sit there and say, no, you're on the member today. Well, what do you mean? I didn't prepare. Yalla. Force yourself to do it. Face it directly. And one of the wisdoms behind facing it directly is oftentimes it's not as bad as it seems. And sometimes you have to break it. Sometimes you got to beat it out of yourself, right? And we know the wise man, he told us, he said that fear breaks, some men fear breaks, and other men fear causes them to break records. So fear is going to make you or it's going to break you. But you can't be afraid of it. You got to put your trust in Allah and you got to face it directly. And you'll be shocked at what the result will be. Wallahu alam. Next question comes from MR, Lodi, California. Mufti, I just want Allah to be pleased with me when he takes my soul. But I'm just a nobody. I'm so deficient. Don't say that, akhi. Don't say that. A Muslim is never, ever a nobody. And most times, or most cases, people who are quote-unquote somebodies are oftentimes the nobodies. Only Allah knows who's guided and who has taqwa. Only Allah knows, all right? So don't ever scorn yourself like that. Even with humility, don't scorn yourself to that extent, saying you're a nobody. You pray to Allah, you're somebody. You're a superstar in my book. You're a celebrity in my book. You make sujood, you make wudu, you read the Quran. You're somebody special. No doubt, let alone in the book of Allah Azza wa Jal. All right? So that's first and foremost. And if you want Allah to be pleased with you, all you have to do is be honest with Allah, and Allah will be honest with you. Keep it real with Allah, and Allah will fulfill His promise. Initials EA from Valenciennes or Valenciennes, France. The wife has to obey husband, but can we give concrete examples of disobedience on a daily basis? Sure, simple and easy. If the husband tells his wife to pray, she has to pray. Obligatory prayer or recommended prayer. If the husband tells his wife, I want you to cover your face and hands, she has to obey. If the husband tells his wife to, I don't want to let this person in my house, I don't feel comfortable with them being in my house, she cannot allow them into his house. Wallahu alam. BC from Bolingbrook, Illinois. Assalamu alaikum. Rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sheikh, do the contents of a book have to be known before it can be sold online or in person? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In general, but not every single thing. If you have a bookstore, you know the general content of a book, yes, you have to. You don't want to sell something of just pure misguidance. But there's certain authors, certain book publishing houses which are known to have good, straight, orthodox stuff. It's a general title, a title that you're interested in. You don't have to have read the entire book. Also, put a disclaimer on your website or your bookshop that we do not represent the thoughts and opinions of every author and every single such and such in general. All right, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you have a bookshop, it won't hurt you for you to have the knowledge yourself, and if not, at least have a close contact with someone who has that type of ilm. And maybe you can hire someone, a student of knowledge, someone who's going to come back from overseas. Hire him part-time to be your consultant for what books you sell online. That's what I would advise with. Wallahu alam. طيب. Nuruddin Ahmed, AS, AM. Where exactly is that? Learn Arabic at home. Pursue a course in fiqh, inshallah. طيب. MM, Ottawa, Canada. Assalamu alaikum. Is it buying vinegar from the grocery store halal? If it is not known whether it comes from wine or not. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Try your best. Figure out the best way you can. Inshallah, purchase the vinegar. Hopefully, there's nothing wrong with that. Inshallah, without asking and knowing whether it came from wine or not. Wallahu alam. AD, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Can you please give detailed explanation of women travel without mahram? I'm confused. Go to Mufti Q&A. Inshallah, there is detail there. Nuruddin Ahmed, where you coming from? AB Tangier, Morocco. What is the ruling on specifying the nights before a big exam with night prayer to make dua? There's nothing wrong with that. It's not necessarily bid'ah. It's not like it's worship, the exam the next day. It's prayer for isti'ana. It's prayer for help. And if you want to be further away from any doubtful thing, mix it up. Give sadaqah the night before. One exam, pray. One exam, give sadaqah. One exam, but the night before, do something special. Support someone overseas, an orphan or a widow. Wahakadha. Tayyib. And this was FS from Manhattan, New York City. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. What is the best advice for a parent whose child says he or she wants to leave Islam? Sit down and talk with them. Have a discussion with them. Ask them why. What's bothering you, son, daughter? What's the problem? What? Sit down and speak with them, all right? And ask Allah to protect them. But talk with them. Maybe they don't want to leave Islam. Maybe they just want or need attention. There are many different factors involved in this. Wallahu alam. And this was innate from Orange County, California. Men and women often sit at the same lunch table when eating at work. This would be haram, I assume. Right. Figure Allah the best way you can. If you can eat lunch somewhere in which you're not sitting in a place of fitna, then do that. If you have no other choice, there are third parties there. It's not just you and the woman, so on and so forth. Figure Allah the best way you can. Inshallah, hopefully it'll be okay. Bi-idhnillah. SS from Jamaica, New York. May Allah bless you, Sheikh. What is the etiquette of renewing intentions? How does one constantly recheck their intentions and avoid doing Islamic work for other than Allah? May Allah bless you as well. Just to keep connected to the Quran. And you read verse after verse, you remind yourself about all of those different verses, about the prophets and the messengers, and about what they did and how they sacrificed and how they put themselves behind Allah's good pleasure. Allah's good pleasure came first. So reading the stories of the prophets and the messengers is always going to be a constant renewal of the intention. That's what I would say. Wallahu alam. Tayyib. And this was KC from Houston, Texas. Assalamu alaikum. Is fasting every other day the best fasting when there is no sunnah reason to fast? The Prophet ﷺ told us the best fast is the fast of David every other day. Wallahu alam. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. And this was SA from Sydney, Australia. Assalamu alaikum, Mufti. Is it okay to prefer some sheikhs over others because of their speaking style? like there's a great teacher who's really impactful how he speaks. There's nothing wrong with that as long as you don't disrespect anyone. And as long as you don't turn into a fanatical zealot. But you prefer this one better? La best. There's nothing wrong with that. Sheikhs have different abilities, different talents. There may be a sheikh who's 10 times more knowledgeable than another sheikh, but he doesn't speak as well. What's important is do not disrespect anyone. Do not become a fanatical zealot. And very importantly, don't pick someone just because of how they speak. Don't pick someone that has a silver tongue and has no knowledge, no ilm, no fiqh. And every class and lecture is smiling, laughing, joking, some story, some, as we say, never eat from paper plates. All right? Get someone that's balanced, someone who has good, solid knowledge, and someone that speaks well and is eloquent, has a sense of humor, appeals to you, speaks your language, so on and so forth. A balance. Never get a void LOL shake that just sounds good and looks good. And all right, that's my nasiha. Wallahu alam. Mahmoud G. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Love you for the sake of Allah. Alaikum salam salam. أحبك الله الذي أحببتنا فيه. آمين. Jazakallah khairan. BC, Bolingbrook, Illinois. What is the most important thing for aspiring student of knowledge to avoid? Go back to the playlist that we've done on that, on the etiquette of the talib al-ilm. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. Tayyib. Assalamu alaikum. Is Bitcoin trading haram? Where you coming from? NJ, JW from Weehawken, New Jersey. Assalamu alaikum. Can you recommend any maktaba with books of our Yemeni mashaykh in particular? I don't know of any bookstore that has books of Yemeni mashaykh in particular off the top of my head. Hisham bin Chuaib, HB, Barcelona, Spain. Any advice for someone who never gave a khutbah and some tips? Yeah, give a khutbah. Do it. Force yourself to do it. Many people, they come to me, they say, oh, mashallah, I enjoyed your khutbah so much. It was so beneficial. It changed my life. Wallahi, every week, someone writes me a letter, comes up to me. Thank you for the khutbah. The khutbah titles are so interesting. Mashallah. I remember the first time I gave a khutbah, I felt like I had birds in my stomach. Seagulls were literally flying around, pigeons flapping around in my stomach. I was so nervous, but I did it. And I was thinking I was 17 when I did it, my first khutbah in a masjid. It wasn't a practice khutbah, it was a real khutbah, real Jumu'ah, a real masjid, full of older people. So you just gotta do it. You gotta break your ice. You gotta get started, huh? You gotta get started. It's okay to be embarrassed. It's okay to make a mistake. It's okay to be nervous. It's okay to stutter. All right? No one is born out of his mother's womb as a master. Mastery has to be obtained. And that's why that's the slogan of HadithDisciple. Steep is the way to mastery. And if you never get started, you'll never have the ability to climb that steep ladder. Put your trust in Allah, huh? Khairan, inshallah. We're going to stop here. Seems to be all the questions tonight. Jazakumullah khairan, guys. May Allah protect you. May Allah bless you. May Allah give you guys better. Assalamu alaikum.